I'm Mariusz Ciesla. I'm a product designer and developer. I co-founded a company called LifeTramp, and I chose this topic because I believe the design process is not really well understood in companies still, and also companies need to be aware of what's going to happen in the future and what's the current and future methods designers are going to use. So making a product these days is cheaper than it ever was, especially like when it comes to digital products, because right now a lot of startups are going into hardware products as well. And there's immense competition in the market. So since you can no longer compete on features, you need to start to compete on the experience. And since the original iPhone was introduced, it introduced a good design to wide audience. And we can also see a lot of companies with design founders like Airbnb or Pinterest growing really fast because people started to expect the good experience, and experienced designers are really important to have in your team because they understand how the people tick and they know how to talk to the user and they can empathize with the user. The most important changes that are coming in UX design these days are hardware products, which are changing the market a lot because a lot of companies are doing a mix of hardware and software these days. A great example would be the beacons or the indoor location tracking that is used right now in shops, museums, stadiums, train stations, and so on, which means that basically your phone can give you context-aware notifications based on your location indoor, which is really amazing. Designers these days are expected to take control and build their own things and prototype a lot, which is currently the new thing that designers need to learn. Physical product design also got commoditized by 3D printing, which means you can build your own hardware products really cheaply. And the biggest frontier for the UX designer these days, I think, is the design and innovation for public good, which means a lot of companies and startups are trying to build products that help the general society rather than just make money. The biggest challenges these days is that one, hiring designers as non-designer. When you're not a designer, it's really hard. And most recruiters, unfortunately, still don't understand how to hire designers and how the designers think and what is design in general. So design is being shoehorned into existing structures where the product people decide on something, then developers build it, then designers get asked to make it pretty, which is exactly not how design works. Designers need to be included in the decision process. The product building process can't be siloed. So you can't have design, development, product. You need to have teams that comprise of all of those skills so they can build together and they can build quickly and prototype quickly. You can't have designers designing in the void. So a lot of startups and companies are learning that having a designer on advisory board, for example, is a great idea. And treating design as the first-class citizen instead of second-class citizen is a great idea as well. There's a popular opinion in general that everyone's a designer because everyone somehow works with user experience. But in general, when we talk about designers, there's a couple of kinds. One is the typical user experience designer that only focus on what the users want during user research and things like that. There's user interface designers. This is kind of old school. Interface designers which only do visual side, which currently is being connected with user experience, and those people are expected to do both things because user interface is the user experience as well. Then you have the product designers. Product designers is something that Facebook has. Everyone at Facebook right now is a product designer. That means that you're expected to design the user experience, design the interface, build the prototype, and pitch it, which is really good for holistic approach to product. And I like to hire designers, I call it with the hacker mindset, which means people who want to learn. If they need something built, they will learn how to build it. Currently, there's a couple of techniques you should get used to when designing a product and when you want to keep it cost effective, especially. One is the Lean UX, which is based on Lean Startup applied to user experience design, which means that basically you quickly build the prototype, you measure the prototype, making sure the users understand how it works. You learn from it, and then you go again. You basically go iteratively all the time. Connected to that is rapid prototyping, which means there's a bunch of tools right now that designers should use and learn to build prototypes quickly, and going out from the mockups world and deliverables world to actual clickable prototypes that can be tested with the users. One of the really cool techniques from Google Ventures is Google Design Sprint, which is one problem, no computers, team comprised of business people, designers, project managers, developers, everyone who actually is interested in building this product. And what they do is in 5 days, they try to solve one problem for the product. When you're designing a new product or designing an existing one, it's really important to talk to people. A lot of people have this thing, I'm going to build it and they're going to come, which is not true. You need to talk to your potential customers because you don't want to invest a lot of time and money into building something nobody needs, right? So do user interviews, do really low-cost prototypes, paper prototypes, I don't know, sketch on a napkin, things like that. Do your research, build it, fail early, fail often, iterate quickly, and learn from it. That's basically the entire idea. You need to shorten the build to learn process and make it as short as possible to learn as much as you can in shortest possible time.